Hello, everybody. My name is Mark Hilliard. I am a master here on the Arcanum, and it is my pleasure to host a Level 4 critique for Adam Glaysher, who has finished up all of the previous work, and he is ready to move forward. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce Adam, and I'm going to have him introduce himself.
Hello, my name's Adam Glaysher, and I live in the Chicago area. I'm married, have 6 kids, ex-Navy. That's where I picked up my photography. I was living on an aircraft carrier, and with all that great material taking off and landing every day, I went and bought my first Canon AE1, and I've been shooting more or less on and off since. And my wife and I started shooting the photography pictures of our kids going through their sports, and that really is how our photography evolved the most. And she does that a lot now. She does it every day, and we turn people away more than we accept new jobs. But I kind of veered off of the sports thing. I had enough of that. So I'm on to photographing other things, and I don't really have a particular style right now. I'm a gadget person. I love cameras, I love lenses, I love stuff, and seeing what I can do with them and what I can create with them. So all aspects of photography really interest me, and I like just using the camera as a door opener for me to get to know other people and see other things. And that's about it. I could go on forever if I had a voice, but you guys, it's your lucky day.
How long were you in the Navy?
Just 4 years.
Oh, man.
Speaking of the Navy, the reason I'm sick is because every year I volunteer with the Navy and the youth group that works with the Navy, and I go to boot camp for 10 days. And I just got back. That's where I was, and that's why I got the Ricky crud. I don't know if you remember what that is, Mark, but when you bring everyone together from all around the country and throw them in boot camp together, they bring God knows what to the table, and you tend to get a little bit of everything from everybody.
Yeah.
So that's what I got, and I did change my pictures. It had to do with the raw images. I didn't have the raw images from the pictures I showed earlier. I sent you a message about that. I didn't think it would be going outside protocol to put some pictures in there with the raw. I hope that was okay.
No, they are your choice. Anything
Okay.
you want there is fine. All right.
Yep.
Which boot camp did you visit?
Great Lakes.
Okay.
That's the only one they have now. All the others are closed.
Really? San Diego's closed?
Yep. Great Lakes is it.
Wow. Things have changed.
A lot.
Yeah, I spent a lifetime in the Navy and never served aboard a ship.
Yeah. That's too bad. The best part of the Navy.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I liked flying, so.
Oh, yeah. Aviation is great.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's start up the remote desktop. Here we go. Those crazy mirrors bring you up. And if you would, please introduce your image.
This building is on all these images were taken the week I was at Great Lakes, and it's right on the shores of Lake Michigan. I went down to the shore and was exposing some of my photojournalist cadets to long exposures, and this building was sitting there pretty as could be on our way out. It was actually dark out by the time we left, and I actually had to stop the car and told everyone they could stay in the car if they wanted to, but I had to grab a picture of this photo, or this building. I'm not sure what they actually do in there anymore, but it just really took me back through a time warp, more or less, if I could get rid of that minivan. I wish they would have had more of the lights lit up, but it was such a still night and such a pretty architecture of that building. I just couldn't resist the picture.
Yeah. Well, you know, you've probably heard the saying from me before, sometimes you get the bear and sometimes the bear gets you. And this time the bear got you because there's no way. Well, I suppose you could have sent your group of cadets over and had them roll it into the water.
Right.
But sometimes you just can't control your scene. Wow, this is a very moody image. I love the flavor and the angle on this. The smoothness of the water really works for you. Now, was the water smooth, or did you do that through long exposure?
Through long exposure, it was fairly smooth, but there were some small waves.
Okay, some ripples and stuff. I love the graduated blues, starting dark at the top of the image and working their way down. The reflection of the, it's probably a telephone pole or something on the back of the building going down into the water, but yet not quite going out of the bottom of the scene. That's always a negative, and you stopped it just shy of that. The reflection of the building looks very, very nice. Now, for such a high contrast image, there's remarkably little contrast in the building itself. I'm speaking back here in this corner. And I'm curious if you shot with enough aperture and if it's just this drop off of depth of field that I'm seeing.
I don't remember. I have to open that up. Do you have my metadata on yours? Or?
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll look at it here. Yeah, you should have had it 30 seconds at f8. Maybe there was a slight amount of camera motion, but I doubt that. You probably were on a tripod, weren't you?
No. You know, I ordered that Right Stuff tripod.
Yeah.
2.5 weeks before I went, and it did not get here in time. So the camera's really just sitting on a rock.
Okay, that's what it is then. All right, but that's okay. One of the things I want to talk to you about, you notice I dropped you out of Bridge and I put you right into Photoshop on this image.
Yeah.
This image has got an awfully lot going to it for it, but there is a lack of detail down here in this reflection. As well as in the trees here, that if we could bring these details out, we could really punch this image up. And I just wanted to see if you could visualize this and when I show you how we achieve that. Do you use the Nik filters, Adam?
I do.
Oh, great. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up Vivisa, and I'm going to put a control point right here in the reflection of that window in the water. And I'm going to take the structure slider, and I'm going to move up the structure. Do you see what it does to that reflection in the water?
I do.
This can make a huge amount of difference.
Yes, indeed.
As long as we don't lose your artistic intent for what the image was purposed at. And I'm just going to move that around. I'm going to come right across here, and I'm going to bring more of these control. Is there anything down here? No, there's not. And then I'm going to put one up here in the trees. And here I'm going to leave the structure up as well. But I'm going to use the shadow adjustment, and I'm just going to slightly, just a little. I don't want too much there. Just a little bit of detail in the trees in the foreground. All right. Let's see if we can pull anything out. No, we really can't pull anything out up there. And then I want to darken this fence down here in front of that. What I did there is just put a control point with no adjustments on it. And that's called an anchor point.
Okay.
And that'll take it back to its original intensity, okay?
Okay.
And then let's just look back here real quick on this brick. Yeah, we're going to darken that back down. And I'm going to try adding a bit of contrast. Yeah, that believe it or not, that actually sharpens that up back there. I'm going to bring that forward across the bricks here, okay?
Yep. What are you doing? Just holding down the Option key while you move it?
Yes. By Option click, I am copying that control point with all of the edits already done to it, so I don't have to redo those. All right. So now we're going to say OK. And this was just a minor edit.
Mm-hmm.
And there it is before, and there it is after. And the difference that I want you to look at is I want you to look in those water reflections and the trees themselves. I didn't want to bring out a lot of detail in the trees because this is supposed to be dark.
Right.
But yet it adds just a wee bit of information to that image that I feel improves it. I don't know. What do you think? Your interpretation, please.
I like it. I am always balancing how much to bring out and how much not to bring out.
Mm-hmm.
I went around, instead of using the big control points, I hand painted in sharpness detail on all those little windows and stuff.
Yeah.
And but like you said, I don't think I had the right aperture for that.
No, F8 was fine for this.
Okay.
The problem for this image was sitting the camera on a rock.
Yep.
Okay.
And then hand pushing the button.
Yeah. Had you had your tripod from Really Right Stuff, which is an incredible expense, by the way.
Yeah.
You would not have had any problems. But I think that the image as it looks now is just a little bit sharper, a little bit higher contrast. We bring out some details in the reflection in the water and a little bit in the trees. And it might be too much in the trees. I don't know. But that's something that you could always decide upon later.
Yeah, okay.
And you may even want to put a control point up here and further darken the sky.
That one, yeah, I don't know. I kind of like it like it is, but
I like that dark gradation of the dark blue to the light blue coming down. I think it would work a little bit better a little further down too.
Okay.
And believe it or not, it was the control point that we put right here that lightened up the sky. If we had just dropped an anchor point up here, it would have brought that sky back.
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
Great image. I enjoyed working on it too. I do like post-processing. We're going to give you a 2 on that image.
Okay.
And let's go into the next image. All right. A brief description.
Well, that's at the little marina on base, and I was really hoping for some waves. And we only had one day to go down there and some free time, so to speak. And I had them all excited about taking some long exposures with the waves. It just was not cooperating. We just had these little tiny 2-inch waves. And luckily we had a boat go by and throw a few waves up on the shore.
Okay.
And we were ready for it. So I just snapped this, and the picture in color was it almost looked like an HDR that was way overdone. But I converted it to black and white. That just appealed to me more for the stillness of the evening and make it look a little more mystic. But yeah, you could see the colors on the original. That was just...
This is at sunrise?
Yeah. Sunset.
Sunset. Okay.
That detracted too much from the image to me, and I just decided on the black and white. I don't know why.
I always choose to shoot in black and white myself if I can. I like what you did with the crop on this, Adam. I like where you put the horizon. The long exposure works very, very well with this. But overall, this almost the whole entire right half of the image is really kind of muddy.
Mm-hmm.
It's low contrast. There's not a great range of well, there's very little dynamic range between the whites and the blacks. And sometimes you just can't get around this.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it just doesn't work in black and white. Other times it will. I have images that I shoot in black and white only. I have a black and white only digital. That's all that it sees. And they just don't work. But in the case of this image, I think that there are things that could be done to pull out and increase the dynamic range of those trees.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Here's your base image as it is, okay? Well, I'm going to go down, let's see here. Lots and lots of choices. I'm going to pull up full dynamic range, but the harsh mode.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately some things pop up. These are dust spots on your sensor. Here's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, 5. See them?
Yep.
These would not be viewable on a lower dynamic range image. Let's look at this. I actually think that this might be a bit too much. Full spectrum. Let's go down. Yeah, the fine art process has a bit more. Let's try adding a. There we go. Let's try adding a little toning to that.
Mm-hmm.
See what that does.
Yeah.
Adding that third color in there can make all the difference in the world.
Okay.
All right. Something like that can save an image. Your exposure is really, really good. I love the smoothness of the water. I love this rock going up. The crop is just perfect. What camera did you use for this?
Sony A6000.
How do you like that?
This was my first week using it. I just got it. I usually shoot with a Canon D5 Mark III. But I was bound and determined to make myself use this Sony mirrorless just to see how I would like it. So I left the Canon at home and went out there with just this. And I'm glad I did, because I wanted to reach for the Canon so many times just to get the settings where I wanted them. And this really forced me to, this is all I got, so I got to learn to use it. Kind of.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, there's just the simple adjustments, adding a little brightness, a little contrast, and a wee bit of structure.
Mm-hmm.
Brings out that dynamic range that's missing in these trees up here.
Yeah.
All right, and it while I want to say it was a simple adjustment, even it took me a few moments to come up with the right recipe for it. And I like the fact that we've got this beautiful, smooth water. We've got the light up here, and it's getting darker as it comes down towards our eye. We've got some triangles working in here for composition. We've got the water line, of the stone, of the tree, multiple triangles in the trees. This is just a great composition. There's a lot of data there.
Yeah.
So you can do with it as you please.
Yeah, I like learning how to use these. I have all of the Nik filters. I've had them for, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 years. I use them off and on, and I'm definitely getting back into them again. But one of the challenges here was just finding something that had any kind of interest at all. And that was another challenge. This beach is it's not a very interesting beach. Most of it's just flat. This is the only corner where I could find some subjects, you know.
Well, given that it was an uninteresting beach, you did an extremely good job. composition and capturing the scene. Like I said, we just needed to just increase the dynamic range of the image, just that little bit.
Okay.
From this.
Just to bring out the foliage and stuff.
Yeah, this foliage is just, if I turn this off, this is just way too muddy back in here.
Okay. Yep.
All right. And just that little bit of a change makes this a really wow image. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Tell us about this one.
Well, that's one of the cadets, and we were working with the fire control and the damage control stations that day, and it was just a shot you had to take with the kids using the fire extinguishers. I have a challenge for the July challenge for motion and pictures.
Yeah.
But I got a different one I want to submit for that. This one, I just like the tonality of it. I had probably 50 to choose from, different kids doing the same thing. But I just like the tones that I saw here and the look on his face and everything. He looked like he was having a good time. A lot of the motivation for taking these shots when I'm with the cadets is they use my pictures in the annual reports and stuff. And they're always trying to motivate and market to teenagers to join the program and look at a career in the military. So I'm always trying to look at an action shot where it's going to draw kids in and say, oh, I want to do that, you know. And then I got to capture the Sea Cadet logo somewhere. So you see that patch on his arm. That will identify him. So I have some criteria I got to work with.
Okay.
This makes it fun and challenging to get it all.
Well, this invokes a curiosity in me. I mean, I look at him discharging the extinguisher, and I say, you know, it's really right up by my head, and I say, what? My hair on fire?
Yeah.
What is he shooting that thing at? And I really like it.
That's a good point. I didn't think of that. They're learning how to discharge the extinguisher. They're really not shooting at anything.
Okay. But I see two areas for possible improvement of your images next time you're there.
Mm-hmm.
The first, try, if you're taking a portrait, an action portrait of a person doing something, which this is, be aware of your entire subject. And try not to cut his feet, his head, his arms off. This would have been a much more complete image had his feet been in the image.
Okay.
All right? And it's a small thing, but it's a thing that'll make the difference between an award-winning action shot and one that's not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And then the second thing is in nature and wildlife, we say don't take a picture of a bird in a tree with a stick going into his head. All right? Try and reposition yourself slightly. And this gentleman's stick is this guy right here standing on his back.
Okay.
All right? There would be plenty of people that would have plenty of comments about this. But he needed to be slightly separated, even if his feet were here, not touching his back. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're saying it's not as bad that he's in the picture, but the fact that he's connected to the subject.
Connected to the subject, right.
Okay.
I mean, there could be all kinds of negative connotations to that if it were a news agency image and one that were going to be placed in a newspaper. You would not want to be using this because it would draw criticisms. Way more so than his feet being cut off. All right? And that's it. You could brighten the image up, maybe brighten the red of the hatches and the red of the extinguisher. I love that he's shooting off and to your side. And he is very intense in this. The exposure on his face is just great. It's just these two small items. If you follow my meaning on these.
Yeah, I do. I'm taking notes on it. Yes.
Okay. Great action shot, perfect concept, but like I said, watch that your subject isn't cut off in any fashion.
Did I? I'm not looking at my originals. I know I cropped this. Did I crop his feet out, or did I take the shot with his feet
I
out?
will. No, his feet are not in there.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still, lovely image. There's a lot there that you can do. All right.
Hey, Mark,
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that he couldn't back up anymore and he couldn't really get the bottom of his feet. What if he shot from, say, his knees up? Would that change how you would view that?
It would, but if he did that, we'd cut off the top of the extinguisher, or the bottom of the extinguisher too, which would also diminish the image.
Okay, so either way. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Knowing that his feet were cut off, because you probably looked at the LCD screen after you took the picture. If you couldn't back up, Adam,
Yep.
then I would have asked the next cadet to back up from you 2 or 3 steps.
Oh.
Give you you're in control here. That they probably, even a step would have been enough.
Yeah. Actually, sometimes I have the liberty to do that, and sometimes I don't. But it doesn't matter because I'm taking in all these points anyway. And some of these cases I have to just kind of be invisible and float above it. None of them will stop for me or do anything. You know what I mean?
Notice the amount of space you have in the top of the frame.
Yeah. I could have done that much better, for sure.
You could have angled down, but you got to be aware of the surroundings. And this guy too. This would have required you to take a step to the left. I'm sorry, a step to the right to have gotten him off his back.
Right. And one good point there is, like I said, I had like 40 or 50 of these to choose from. So all these points are valid because I didn't have to choose this one that had the guy growing out of his back.
Mm-hmm.
I had others to choose from that were probably better choices. So the critiques are very valid. I was just answering the other guy's question there, Robert. And some of these, yeah, I'm just running around, barely catching some of these. But anyway, look, we can go on. This is good.
All right. Now, tell us about this one. Boy, I can remember doing this.
It's everyone's favorite day. Well, the room is pretty bright in there, and I wanted to darken it down. So I stopped it down a little bit, and then post-processing darkened it, and then tried to bring out the colors. They wanted a good picture to go on the banner of their website for the day. And so this is the one I picked. They fire up the diesel fires, and then the Navy takes the cadets in, and they extinguish the fires. I like the angles on this one. Again, I was tripping over a bunch of hoses and people pushing me out of the way. I got about 40 or 50 images, and this is the one that I ended up choosing. I like the white gloves that kind of lead your eye in, and the colors on the helmets that lead your eye in there. And I purposely kind of darkened out everything on the right side. I used the gradient slider on there just to de-emphasize that because the picture was not. Well, anyway, that's what I did. I de-emphasized.
Okay. Well, see, you basically critiqued yourself.
Okay.
All right. But having said that, I want to show you something. Okay, look at this image.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Beautifully composed, beautifully processed, beautifully exposed. We see the fire. They're all looking at the fire. They're all thinking in their head, oh my goodness, I have to go into there. But then you have this big open distraction over here.
Mm-hmm.
What if you'd done something simple? like that.
Yeah, I should have.
Now look at that image.
Yeah, a lot less distracting.
Plus, we have the angled lines going all the way into the fire from each corner. This one could go on the cover of any newspaper in the country, and they would go, oh, more, more, more. Okay? The darkening of the image was perfect. The highlights on top of their helmets. Did you make them polish their helmets for you?
No.
The white gloves, as you said, there's multiple lines drawing our lines into this image. Okay, and you can't help but feeling sorry for these kids. What are they going to do? And we did that by simply removing this area over here.
Mm-hmm.
This is, and this helmet,
Yeah.
this really detracts. But with just a simple little itty-bitty crop, just that much, it takes a good image that tells a story and turns it into a Pulitzer Prize winning image. Okay.
Yeah.
It tells a story. It's like, wow. Of course, your image says wow all by itself. You've done it right with the leading lines, the angles, on multiple levels. I mean, even the levels of the Scott packs. Those are the air tanks for you non-military people. We've got these wonderful white gloves. They're holding the hoses. I assume they're holding the hose.
Yep.
Yeah. This door's open and the fire's raging. It's like, this tells a wonderful story. And with the exception of just the simple crop, this image stands alone and stands above a whole world of images out there. I like this better than anything I've seen you do so far. Okay, even the airplane shots. And your airplane shots are magnificent, but this tells a story, and it tells it really well. It would just tell a little bit better if we crop off the unnecessary information on the right.
All right.
Okay?
Yep.
Wow. Yep, we're going to give that image a 3.
Oh, wow. That's being generous with that crop.
Well, no. The crops, that's no big deal. That's just a slight shift of our perception, okay?
Okay.
You did all of the work in the image before we ever talked about the crop. All right? Here's another one that tells a great story. Tell us about this one.
Well, this was PT Day, and we had to pick one image that would represent the day. And I did have time to pose this guy, but he was already down there doing push-ups and getting kind of warmed up. And I said, hey, would you mind if we take your picture? We'll make you famous. And he's like, man, no problem. So I just had him, and this was one of the things I loved about the Sony A6000. Oh my gosh, I could never really. I probably wouldn't have tried to get this with the D5, but you could have, but I wouldn't have. But with that preview screen on the back of the A6000, be able to tilt it up, I was able to slam that camera down on the deck and compose this picture, in seconds. And,
yeah.
And I just, it came out really good. He got that intense look in his eyes and blurred the background a little bit just to make sure that he popped out, and that's about it.
Okay. This is another great image that tells a story. I like the pose. We've got all kinds of leading lines happening. We're going from the upper corners down, following this blue line of the roof. Mm-hmm. We've got the line of cadets going across here. I take it that these are probably instructors?
Hard to say. They're all mixed in.
All right. All that's missing is sweat dripping off of his face.
I forgot to add that.
Yeah, you need to take a spritzer bottle and spray him down, right?
You can tell it's fake right away.
Yeah. Boy, I just love this. I'm wondering though if maybe this one might benefit from a slight crop. Let's look see. Yeah, it might. If it does, it's just going to be a minor thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, going from that. Yeah,
It does clean up the edges.
it cleans up the edges.
Plus, I am getting some distortion, not only the blank space, but I'm getting some lens distortion with those lenses that came with the cameras.
But that's okay. You're not getting the distortion on your main subject.
Yeah.
In fact, if you had opened it up a little bit and had a little bit more bokeh happening back here,
Yeah.
that might have been an interesting interpretation too. But this really works. It's another one that tells the story. He's saying, "Get out of my face."
Right.
All right. I know that you told him you were going to make him famous, but I like the "get out of my face" interpretation a lot better.
Right.
Watch the horizon. See this line here?
I see it now. I didn't see it before, but I was waiting for you to say something.
Okay, you've got to keep these lines straight.
Now, just out of curiosity, I see that now too, but I probably would have needed to change my location a little because I think the camera is flat on the deck.
Yep.
So it would have been my angle shooting back.
Yes, it's definitely the angle.
Okay. All right.
All right, but it doesn't matter. You can still do this in post, and it's going to distort it even more over here, but that's okay.
Right.
All right. Another fabulous image that tells a real story. You're real good at capturing these people shots with a story behind them. I like this. I don't normally see this much information in an image, and you should be proud of yourself for being able to generate these.
Thanks.
Just simple things. Crop out the unnecessary space. Keep the horizon straight, okay?
Mm-hmm.
In the firefighting scene, crop out that dark space on the right. That is just very distracting, and it detracts from the picture in a major way. And just the simple cropping of that out turns that into a world-class image without doing anything else. You were perfect on your post-processing.
Thank you.
I cannot wait to see what you do with the level 6 images.
Actually, I've had some dead time because I've been sick. I've already worked on them, so I'm going to go back and retweak though a little bit after this critique.
Okay. All right. Well, wow. You've given me quite a collection of images that really showcase your talent. And all of the suggestions that I've given you were small suggestions, but you will be surprised how much difference they make in your finished images. Okay, especially with people and wildlife. Anything that we talk about with people equally applies to wildlife.
Okay.
Keep the whole animal in the scene unless you're doing a close-up detail of their head.
Okay.
All right? Don't cut the feet off. Don't cut the head off. Don't have sticks sticking out of their bodies in the background. Don't have people sticking out of them in the background. Try and isolate the subjects the best you can. Sometimes you can do it. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes the bear just wins, okay?
Right.
But the firefighting one, wow, what an image. I mean, I like the exercise. That's a good one too. But this firefighting one, with that crop, that just leaps out all over you.
I'm putting that one up on my website.
That's the one that the Navy should go for. That is an incredible image.
Thank you.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So let me bail out of here. Let me bring you back up. Turn off those silly... I'm back.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. We lost some people. You are welcome to turn on your microphones. And do you all have any comments?
Yeah, Adam, the firefighter image was really beautiful. I was curious, did you say you originally exposed that brighter and then you toned it down in post-processing, or not?
No, the room is much brighter. The room is very bright, and you lose the effect of going into a dark, scary room. So I stopped the camera down as much as I could.
Oh, okay.
Still keep it fairly sharp.
You did it in camera, though.
I did it both. I stopped it down, and then I also post-processed even.
Okay. Yeah, it was a nice story. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
What kind of exercise was that? Do these guys have to go into that room one at a time, or what were they actually doing?
No, they they will open the door. They'll feel for the heat, and then they'll open the door and then spray into the compartment to extinguish the fire. They do not go into that room. No.
Okay.
Back in the day, we used to go in the room. I don't know if you had to go through them, Mark, but yeah. So, but they've toned that down. They've toned everything down a bit now. Because we used to eat glass and spit bullets, you know.
Yeah, well, that's why I asked, because, you know, I've heard stories from some relatives, and, you know, they tell me horror stories and stuff like that, so I was wondering. But that is a great shot, by the way. Very cool. Out of all the shots that you showed, I think that one is my favorite.
I appreciate that. It was not a difficult shot to get. I'm sure that you guys would have all gotten the same shot, being that you were there with a camera. I think that was the accomplishment, being there with a camera.
In fact, it's such a good shot, I would suggest submitting it to competitions.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
It might be taken away from us for a photojournalist tour or something.
you might win a new Leica camera. Who knows?
Right. No, I gotta show you this. Wait.
Oh, it came.
Yeah.
Which one is that? Is that the travel one?
Yes, it is.
That's the same one I carry with me when I travel. 4 leg extensions.
Yeah.
Which ball head did you put on it?
The 30.
Okay. Yep, I did the same thing. That is a super system. Congratulations. I know your wallet feels a lot lighter after that.
Yeah. I'm not leaning to one side anymore, though.
Yeah. Well, very well done, and congratulations. I'm going to level you up, and in about an hour, I will post this image on our website, and I will do the one earlier, Kevin, as well. Yours is probably finished processing. YouTube has to process them for all the resolutions that they do. But I want to thank you all for coming in and supporting Adam during this. It was a lot of fun. And Adam, I'm just wowed by that firefighting image. That's an incredible shot.
Thanks. You made my day. And thanks for spending the 4th of July all together here. That was nice.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you all.